Hello to the chicos and the chicas. Today we are going to re-enter the territory of awesome aggressive chess played by my audience, my followers, call it what you like. This time around I received an email from a lovely gent who claimed that my CPR, my Chess Principles Reloaded courses have helped him immensely to play very aggressive yet sound chess, and he highlighted that even on his level, which is 2000-ish chess.com rapid, people are very often out of book, and so the additional knowledge of how to play sound, good, aggressive chess when the opening phase is done dusted is really, really helpful. And now it is my absolute pleasure to turn it around and express my gratitude, because I'm so happy that these two games made their way to me so that now I can publish them on YouTube. So our friend today is going to be Slash, first playing with the white pieces, and this is going to be a weird opening. I don't even know what it's called actually. Some kind of weird Nimzovich, I suppose, but yeah. Anyway, h6 is definitely introducing the I don't know what I am doing opening. Now, at this point, I would like to highlight a little trickery that many tactically minded players should be aware of and, in fact, excited to play. As soon as you see this pin, in many openings, Alapin Sicilian is a textbook case, many Philidors, and a few others, you are immediately drawn to the idea of provoking this knight e5 move because you know that you are gonna sack your queen and you have that massive smile on your face because it's not every day that we score an absolute crushing victory with this queen sacrifice, which is completely stock standard, and like I said, it has got many variations, but almost always the main line where black plays the best moves in order to dodge this very unpleasant discovery is to move the queen out with check and then castle here. And a lot of people completely falsely conclude that, well, white just lost the queen and black is completely winning. And nothing is further from the truth, because the queen is still essentially trapped. White already has a piece for the queen, so anytime I try to sack it back, I will still be down material. Note that the bishop is hanging here too. And queen b4 loses the queen to a3. Queen c7 loses to knight d5. Queen b8 c7. And the list just goes on and on and on and on. So tactical awareness here was a little bit still on a break, but you know, I can't really throw too much shade for a beautiful move like knight c3. I just wanted to point out that d5 there would have potentially led to a spectacular queen saccarino. If you are not familiar with that motif, or this is the first time you saw it, I very much would like to encourage you to investigate that line I just showed you a little bit deeper. Well worth it. a6, bishop c4. Ta-da. This is what we like to see. So full development, full central control. This needs no introduction, yet so many fail to play with this thing in mind when they are facing against a random opening that, well, let's be honest with ourselves, is not really great at all. Knight f6, h3, kicking the pinning bishop, trade, and castles queenside. Yet another sign of a aggressively minded, sound, good chess player, that when we are ahead in development, when we seem to when we seem to be just on the verge of grabbing the initiative, we prefer castling queenside because it enhances our lead in development by bringing the rook to the d file right away. It creates yet another layer of imbalance. Queen e7, knight d5, very good, super aggressive chess again. We don't allow our opponent to carry out their plans. We strike while the iron is hot. It's very important that in positions like this we don't play pretty moves like rook e1, because as much as it fits the build, it looks great, it brings the last piece to the game, it has absolutely zero added value, none. Like, we cannot do a single thing now as a result of the rook being on e1 that we couldn't do before. So let's go and hurt our opponent while we can. Knight d, ed, knight a7, and once again, just by playing nothing but principled chess, we have arrived at a completely winning position. Unfortunately, here our friend slipped up just a tiny bit, and perhaps wanted to play a little bit for the gallery, because here we played the spectacular, but objectively speaking, not really great bishop d4. Now, what I would like to say here is that I try to always encourage and in fact praise my students for moves like this, even if they are objectively not best. Why is that? The reason for that is because a move like this suggests to me as a coach two things. One, you are very, very keen to cash in on your lead of development by continuing the aggressive, going for the throat type of chess. And not only that, but you are willing to play paradoxical, seemingly silly, sacrificial moves that, you know, you feel like it ought to be good because it's so nice and so lovely and so paradoxical in its appearance. And usually tactical strikes are like that. They seem to be impossible, they are paradoxical, they just shock everyone when the move is played. So we are on the right track. It takes very little fixing to get from this move to this move, right? If in this position your go-to move is king b1, we have a lot to work on in terms of understanding dynamics in chess. Who is the aggressor? Who is the defender? When is it the right time to strike? If you play bishop d4, you tell me that you understand the position really well. You just didn't quite select candidates well enough, and you underestimated your opponent's potential defensive sources. But the mindset is fully on point. Now, very quickly, why is d6 a winning move here? First of all, unlike bishop d4, it actually creates a really brutal threat. I'm threatening to take your queen. Bishop d4, in very strong contrast, doesn't have that impact that d6 does. And of course, d6 does open files and diagonals, which bishop d4 was also hoping to do, but in fact, unfortunately, doesn't. And that's the issue, that this does what bishop d4 was merely hoping to do. And after c takes d6, bishop d5, we have got this extremely awkward situation where the a7 knight is the main culprit in black's inability to put up any resistance whatsoever. Even bishop takes b7 is completely unstoppable. Castles hangs the knight, so does rook b8. Knight c6 hangs an entire rook after the double capture and then take on a8. Simply can't do anything. And that's it. End of story. The game is as good as gone. Maybe I can do something like queen c7, bishop takes rook b8, and then bishop d5, when once again material is restored. Irrelevant. The black pieces are totally unable to disentangle, and we have got various ways to build up pressure. Rook d3, rook c3 is one of them. Pull the bishop back, double up on the d is another. According to the engine, it's about +4. Anyway, so bishop d4. What's the issue here? The issue here was that we overlooked, I guess, that I didn't have to take, and that I had a sufficient measure against bishop takes e5, which is more or less the only threat associated with bishop d4. So check. And now we can't play the desired bishop king b1, because then I can take the bishop without any dramas. And so the best move I can play is bishop e3. But if that's the case, what was the playing point of playing bishop d4 in the first place? Right, let's move on. So bishop d4, f6. As usual, the opponent still crumbles under the pressure and the really forceful, aggressive, relentless attacking style of the white player. And now the attack breaks through with elementary power. And what was missed once is not gonna be missed twice, and kudos. So this is what I'm talking about, see? So if I was a coach and I saw the game and I saw bishop d4, I would think exactly those things that I told you, and I would highlight here to my student that, yeah, d6 was, by the way, winning, and they would be very happily telling me that, wait, coach, it's coming. To which, of course, I would say that, yeah, it's all great. It should have come here, but let's see. And so win-win, because we still won the game, but we learned a very valuable lesson that that strike needed to happen a little bit sooner. And the rest is complete carnage. Rook d6, mind you, is an absolute banger there. Of course, queen takes d6 is met by mate. And so now we are struggling very, very badly to put up a good enough defense here. I don't know why we didn't play rook d1 here, though. That is a bit of a bummer. Because now queen d6 is still mate. Knight d8, queen d8, queen d8, rook d8. Folks, this is, by the way, what you call an X-ray motif. Yeah, rook d1 would have been here a tad better than queen f5 check. And then rook d1. But nonetheless, it's a win either way. And here we missed another little detail. Queen d7 is immediate game over because the bishop can't keep the diagonal. And the bishop itself cannot be protected. So, yeah, this is all over. But I think white must have had a bit of a feeling of sense of satisfaction that, yep, game is in the bag. And it's quite typical that then when we feel that, yep, okay, this is done dusted, we start dropping the quality and we play suboptimal moves. But eventually we got there. Takes. And now basically queen d6, queen c7 is unstoppable. Or if you like, we can do it with checks. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive play by the one and only Slash. But this is only half of the biz, because he sent me another game where he's behind the black pieces. And this is gonna be an absolute... I don't know what to call it. The reincarnation of Morphe here to be seen. So this is gonna be a very awkward Vienna turned into a very... Yeah, just bad business. d3 is not a move. Bishop b4, great. Bishop d2, castles, alright. Queen f3, knight c6, knight e2, and bishop takes c3. More or less the only move that I dislike in this game. And the reason for that is because if knight d4 is the plan, we should do it right now. And very clearly knight d4 was the plan, because this is how the game went. Now, what I often feel with club level players games is that they very often they see an idea and they want to somehow achieve that idea in its purest, best, optimal form. And it's incredibly rare that you can do that in chess. In fact, in any walks of life, almost all the time, when there is something great presenting itself to you, it's incredibly rare that you just get the best package ever and there is no compromise somewhere to be taken or done along the way. It's really rare. And this is especially true in a competitive environment when two forces are working against each other. It's very unusual that you get to deliver some punch without zero resistance. And here, for example, to translate this to chess language, what we really wanted to do was to take on c3 and get either d5 in very cleanly or get knight d4 in very cleanly. In fact, under the best circumstances. And if it's doable, rare cases, but they do occur, it's fine. But very often we need to realize that this is not the way. So let's see what went down here, what went down here, and how it could have been improved. So bishop takes was played. Now knight takes, knight d4 was played, and indeed this looks really, really good for black. I suppose the plan was bishop c3 d5, which also does look pretty decent at the very least for black. My concern is that what do we do here after pawn takes back? Which denies knight d4 altogether, and the very logical d5 is met by the pesky bishop g5, when we really have to acknowledge the fact that this pin is more than just a nuisance. This is going to be now the focal point of the game. And we haven't quite gained enough in the center and in development that would overwrite or overrule the pain caused by this bishop and the pressure here. Now let's do a comparison. So d5 is not playable, so we can't take angle for that. So what if we play knight d4 right away? And then we realize that actually capture is forced. Knight b1 is completely forced. And here after a5, we will be able, or even bishop c5. Oh, no, actually, no, I don't want to give up that because then bishop g5. So let's just go a5. And now d5 is pending. And if a3, then we can pull back all the way here. And now the knight has nowhere to go. Now, this is actually a little bit counterintuitive because as much as I love the fact that d5 is coming here, to see that e5 is bad on account of knight e8, followed by an f6 idea to blast the f file open, yeah, this begins to smell very enginey, right? So I don't know. Let's give it a whirl though, because I want to demonstrate something. So bishop e2, we play d5. Let's say they castle, and now our main advantage stems from the fact that this knight is completely useless. An additional benefit, and I'm all figuring this out as I'm speaking, by the way, of this a5 shindig is that now we will have an absolutely tremendous rook lift. But look, to be fair, to find all this, yeah, this was a tough ask. This was a tough ask. So let's go back to bishop c3 and enjoy what's coming now, because boy are we in for an absolutely spectacular ride. d5, because you put your pieces in the center, friends. That's what you do. Your opponent erroneously gives up the center, so you conquer the center, and now you once again have accomplished picture perfect chess. And see, this is why I like it when people understand these principles and the dynamics of chess. Because yes, we might not have played the most accurate move here, but we played really strong, aggressive, dynamic, principled chess all the way. And inevitably, on 2000 level, it's like a law of chess. Your opponent is going to crumble and collapse under the pressure that is created by your super awesome educated chess. I mean, look at what's on the board here. Perfect development, safe king versus an absolute cluster disaster. And we have been out of book since move 3. So this is purely who plays more sound, better, principled chess. And black all the way, friends. f3, queen check, beauty. g3, of course, is met by knight f3. So knight g3 forced. And what does this mad lad do here? This is what kids nowadays call a giga chad, if I'm not mistaken. Your bishop is hanging, so what is your first reaction? That's right, that you do not move it. We are not here to protect hanging pieces. We are here to wreak havoc and to go after the opponent's king at all cost. f5, absolutely sensational move. fg met by f4, and we are going to regain the lost material with interest. Taken f4, c3, fg, because we have a hanging piece. So your natural reaction if you are playing good chess is that we do not care. The objective, the target, is painted on the head of this guy. Of course, CD here is immediate checkmate. So they play the only move h3 to try to block this diagonal. But of course, the f file is also our hunting ground. Bishop e2 and queen f2 mate. An absolutely marvelous game. What really is beautiful about these games and exciting to see, in my opinion, is that if you play through this, very often you go like, oh yeah, white was playing terribly and black just, played easy chess and they won and anyone can do this. That's the impression you gain. But the number of games on this level that derail because black doesn't play here for a d5 or knight d4 idea, and then they don't follow it up with d5, but they play instead d6, betraying principles such as fighting for the center, and the number of games that then don't follow with queen h4 and then more importantly f5 f4, you wouldn't believe. In fact, that is 99% of chess games on this level. They derail on exactly, or rather I should say, at these intersections. So what separates Slash from the rest is that he has got this magnificent drive to play aggressive, principled chess. And for that, we are going to send him a massive shout out, because this looks super easy, super fluid when you see it done. And you almost go like, oh yeah, I know all of this stuff. Trust me, when you need to do it, when you need to play like this, it is a really, really great challenge. And on that note, folks, we are going to call this video off. Once again, shout out to our friend, Mr. Slash, and thank you very much for sending me these two games. You really, really did channel your inner Morphe, and you certainly did play my beloved principled chess. So the least I could do is to put it out on YouTube. And I would like to encourage all of you guys that if you have got a game that you play that featured some really cool stuff that you would like to see YouTubed, please, by all means, send it to me, and I will see what I can do. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to comment, to press the like button, and to sub if you haven't done so. And I'm gonna see you in the next video soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.